And now, ladies and gentlemen,
Put your thumbs up and say it's Tickety Boo.
Tickety Boo.
Tickety Boo, Tickety Boo, everything's Tickety Boo.
Tickety Boo, son. Tickety Boo.
Tickety Boo.
Hello and welcome to Tickety Boo. I'm Andy and I'm here with Iona and Ian. And if you're new here, we do release new episodes every Monday, so make sure you look out for them. Today's conversation is about something most of us get backwards, and that's that happiness doesn't come from things, people, achievements. It's an inside-out job. And when we rely on the outside world to make us feel okay, we put ourselves on a treadmill that never switches off and gets quicker and quicker, and it costs us. Before we get into it, guys, I don't think this episode is really about stuff, but it's the easiest place to notice what's going on. You buy something, a phone, a vehicle, a new shiny thing, and you feel all the buzz of it. And then 2 weeks later, it's just part of the furniture again, isn't it? And the scary bit is the buzz fades, but the need will return. And I think it's not that we don't chase more because we want more. We tend up chasing more because not enough feels uncomfortable. I think would be fair to say. Yeah.
And
So-
that dopamine hit that we get when we buy it.
So are we dissatisfied or are we just unsettled?
I think we just can't find. It's just a difficult balance to find. It's knowing when to switch off and say I've got enough.
Yeah, it's kind of like when life sort of, like you've done well and things are going well, it goes a bit quiet. This urge creeps in to go, I need to upgrade and do better.
Yeah, exactly. But that's never ending. It's like keeping up with the Joneses.
Yeah.
And it's the reason why you're doing it as well. I remember once I bought a car. Louise had fell out with her sister at the time. And I remember it was part of it, or what I knew of it, was over a business. And I thought, I'll show them. And I went and bought this 4-wheel drive Jag, brand new. And for about 30 seconds, it felt like, that'll show them. Then I realised it was a stupid decision that I'd made for all the wrong reason.
Yeah.
So I spent 2 years with this car that, to be fair, wasn't that good. Well, I shouldn't say, but, it just didn't float my boat. And I actually wound up resenting it because I bought it for the wrong reasons. And that was just stuff, for stuff's sake, that I bought for the wrong reason.
Wow. Yeah.
It's that comparisonitis, isn't it? As well, when if we're comparing our level of success and our worthiness with what we've got, and we see somebody else, whether it's social media, it's somebody with the car, the highlight reels, like when we're comparing ourselves to everybody else, and to fill that need, to feel that we're as good as them.
Yeah.
And also we can buy things too easily now.
I kind of sort of call that phase when I was younger, like the trailblazing phase. Where if you ask me what you're chasing, Andy, I'm like, I don't know, but I'm not catching it, but I'm sprinting as fast as I possibly can. But the thing is, when you get to that thing or that place, very quickly, all the excitement of that just disappears into the background, and normality actually returns. Once the buzz of it all has kind of calmed down, new gear, new projects, new ideas. This will make life easier. This will make life better. This is it. I've hit that place. And then when you get there, your internal state's still like, yeah.
Well, you return to your natural set point, wherever that is. So you get the buzz, you go up, you've got the thing, proves I've got the car, and then you come back down to where internally our set point is. Now we can move that, by, practicing gratitude, so we start to use our patterns and our perception to see what we have already, to be grateful for that. And actually, we only need to practice 3 of those. So there's an exercise called the 3 good things. And you don't have to do more than 3. You don't have to do a list of 50 things a day. But when you bring in the feeling, so that then our minds start to look for more of that, because we're looking to prove, as opposed to comparing ourselves to, well, they've got the flashy new car. So, well, let's look at what we do have already.
Well, I heard you when you were talking about the Jag. The line that went through my head is, it didn't change my life, it just joined my life.
Yeah. Oh, no, it was never going to change my life.
Yeah.
And just while we're on cars, now, at the moment, I've probably got the most expensive car I've ever had. But in reality, people will look at it and go, ooh, and it has more of an effect on them than it ever does on me anymore. To me, it's just stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas so I look at the car I've got now and it's just stuff. And if you could ask me what car did I love the most, I would go back to the first or second car I ever had
Your Banger.
that I really loved.
Yeah.
It was something I bought for 150 quid. The one that springs to mind, it was either an Austin Maestro I had or a Triumph Acclaim that would go out and give another coat of paint every now and again. And that's the stuff that I'm actually emotionally attached to. It was my first car. It meant something. It was a wow. Whereas now I just get stuff and it's just stuff. And I don't want to appear really ungrateful because that's not my intent. But
yeah. Do you think more stuff makes us feel like we're moving and progressing? Does it create that false feeling of we're achieving? Because I'm very much in the place now, for me, less is more.
Yeah.
The less things I have to have in my life, the more capacity I have to enjoy the things I have in my life.
Spoken by somebody who just had to move. So
I'm still emptying cardboard boxes, by the way, and a lot of it, I'll be honest with you, is going in the bin. Yeah. There's stuff that I packed in boxes that I hadn't touched and moved for years, and there's books and things that are going, in that moment, I must have that. Yeah. And the page has never been opened, the thing's never actually been used.
I did worse than that. So when I got married and we emigrated and went to the US, I had stuff that I moved with us over there and then the same stuff that I moved back. So I've been trying to be good at that, but it's been accumulating because I haven't moved in forever. So I need to declutter, because another aspect of this is it can be overwhelming. Like, we need to create space, and I need space around me because otherwise my brain gets, I get fried. I can't work in chaos and clutter.
Yeah, my mind doesn't like that. If I feel a sense of disorganisation around me, I'm really quite restless, and there's a lot of anxiety for me if I don't feel like I don't like being unprepared. I don't like to step into situations going like, oh God, like I forgot this and I forgot that. Like, I've been teaching the last 2 days and I spent a day and a half preparing to go in because I've had a period of life where I was like, well, if I'm really busy, when I get into situations, it'll just sort itself out. I can just not wing it, but I can just get through it. But I've actually learned that, slowing down, focusing on what you're doing and doing it well and executing, that's where this underlying sense of calm and control kind of comes through. So it's like I'm managing, I'm not doing crisis management, which I felt like a lot of my life was. So, I thought for a long time in life I was really driven, but I was actually just more afraid of stopping. I think that's the biggest issue.
Yeah. I'm very lucky. I've actually had a period in my life where I felt true peace. It was only very brief. Before then, I found another 100 things to move on to. I moved the goalposts and went again. But I got to a point where I'd finished something I'd always wanted to do. And then I didn't just do it. I did it with brass knobs on 5 times the size I ever thought I did. That's not a normal situation. But afterwards, I'd gone from absolute exhaustion, emotionally and physically, to this, and I hit this utopia of hope it 100% doesn't happen. But if the Lord came and got me now, I could say, I've made an impact on the world. I feel 100% comfortable with who I am. If it happens, stick a fork in me, I've done everything I needed to do. And that was only a very brief thing, but that was peace. And at that moment, that to me, that's a utopia, and that's a feeling that I've been chasing.
Yeah. It's amazing that you've had that feeling.
It is. Yeah, and I think there's a realisation inside of that you're not competing with anyone out there. There is no competition, there's no race.
I know, I've made that into competition. I'm chasing to try and get that again, which is just giving me more stuff to do.
Well, weirdly, what you end up doing is competing with versions of yourself that don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
And I think that's the trap that we fall in, past versions of ourselves that have a different energy. And I said to that earlier, my mind wants to do things my body was doing 10, 15, 20 years ago. And the body's like, do one. You can still do it, but you're not burning us out. Take some responsibility and look after yourself.
Yeah.
But also, I think that trap of competing with people out there is that thing we talk about very often on this podcast, is looking at other people's highlight reels.
Yeah.
Comparison.
And go, if I can just get there, I can get myself to a future where life feels settled. And I absolutely promise you that it doesn't work like that.
Absolutely not. Between living in a world where you can just get everything on credit, you're surrounded by images of everybody else's success and what you perceive to be, and then your own spin that you put on their pictures. Between all this, everything being at hand, all these images, all this pressure to conform, all this comparatonitis, enough will never be enough.
I had a client not that long ago, should I say late 20s, really nice guy, really intelligent guy, got quite a good job, he's an engineer. And he says, I'd like you to help me figure some stuff out. And I was like, okay. And he was going, I don't want to be like this, I don't want to be like that. And I'm like, what do you want? And his response to me actually blew me away. He went, this is what I want. I want to have the prettiest girlfriend out there. I want to have the best sports car. I want to have the best friends. And I want to be the best at everything I do. And I want to be able to fight in case anyone ever takes my girlfriend off me or tries to take my girlfriend off me.
Wow, what a ridiculous list. And do you know what instantly springs to mind for me there? Perspective. The best car in the world. For me, it's not that expensive thing, it's stuff. It's that Maestro that I had. To me, that's the best car in the world. Yeah. Do you know what? My wife is the prettiest woman in the world to me. I don't care what you think. Fighting for her. To be fair, I will stand up for myself. But because I've not gone down that shallow route, I don't need to. Yeah. The fighting's already... Well, there's just no fighting to be done. Yeah. So
this guy obviously had a need to perform.
Yeah, that's a very skewed perspective, that is.
I think it's... you put it perfectly there, because it's about the perspective. Yeah. And if we build and create our life based on the deeper meaning and purpose, as we said, it's building connection, being community, the inner circle. Yeah. Like, those things are really important. So... it's not the most expensive car, it's the best car. Like, I'm sure we all lived...
He was basically looking at himself and judging himself using rules and imagery from other people's lives and chapters of their books.
Yeah. I mean, why would you really want a woman that is so pretty but you're so insecure about that you feel that you need to have the ability to fight for physically? That's just ridiculous.
It's superficial, because it's like, define pretty.
Yeah.
Because, to me, it's, I did have a conversation about, it's not how you feel about them, it's about how they make you feel in yourself. And I did go into that, and if you have to fight, they're not the right one.
Could I tell you a little story about something? It might go on a bit, so just tell me to be quiet. But
be quiet.
Go on. Yeah, go on. This is about, him, my older brother, who was obviously your best friend growing up. And... when we were growing up, he was always very, very hungry for success. He was the protector of the family, etc. And when he was hungry for success, he didn't at that point, he hadn't developed a skill set. Yeah. So he was making poor quality decisions and maybe doing things that wouldn't fit in with our current standards. Also, it was, he was saying and doing other things that other people would make judgments of. So he was always aware that family, friends would have this opinion of him. So he's gone on, he's developed a skill set, and he's worked hard, but unfortunately then he worked too hard, which then came at the sacrifice of his family and other relationships. And all the time people are building up this image and this quite negative stuff. He's then gone on to become very, very successful, absolutely straight down the line, generous to a fault. One of my best friends, somebody I respect hugely, one of my role models. But the thing is, this image that he's always had of how he was perceived in the past has haunted him. Like and like a shadow, and he's always so desperate to prove to the world that he's not that person. He's overly generous. He pushes too hard. He's done that a long time ago, but he's not come to terms with the fact that, one, he feels guilty about the previous version of himself. 2, he doesn't want to be perceived as that person, and he's constantly feeling that he's making amends for what he was at that point in the past. That was left along. He left that person
So
a long time ago.
he's still judging himself from the old version of him.
Well, he's still trying to make amends, and he's still pushing hard. Now, this man, he talk about a multi-million-pound company. He's huge. He's got these genius ideas that are out on production that he's invented all over the world, but he just can't stop. And because he's chasing this shadow that's in his head, it'll never stop. He needs to stop. He's now at a point where it's affected his health very badly.
Yeah.
And I was just talking to him, and I look at the stress he's under because he just takes too much on, because he lives in a world where he can't stop, because he's in this constant battle with himself. And until he actually stops and faces that, and comes to peace with
I
him.
wished people like him, and in particular him, could see what obviously you see as his brother, but I see, because I know the previous version of him, and I know statistically he doesn't get to where he's got to. So actually he's already bucked the trend. He's got absolutely nothing to prove to anybody. He doesn't even need to say anything. So we're all looking, going like, wow, like just wow. But he can't feel that.
No. And I just wish so much I could just take him back to a previous version of himself.
Yeah.
So if you said this to you at this point of time, would you believe it would happen?
I think the problem is, though, that humans are really good at adapting quite quickly to improvement.
Well, and I think everybody wants to be ambitious and they have a dream, but we have to notice the difference between like healthy ambition and overriding our nervous system and overriding and ignoring everything else.
And I don't know whether he just doesn't know how to live a life without being on the attack at work, in his professional. But
Or stop him or just feel uncomfortable.
I tell him all the time, enough is enough.
Yeah,
but
man.
there's something that he can't live with.
Well,
in his peace.
sometimes more is not ambition, it's self-protection and self-preservation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's the internal battles, more is a way of not feeling.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's really about, because peace feels unsettling.
And I'll never understand the sacrifice to the relationships, but that just happens.
Yeah.
But I'll never understand the sacrifice when you've got so much you couldn't spend it if you tried. Why are we still making the sacrifice and not just enjoying it? And this is where I was saying that it's about the choices and having the freedom to make the choice. Unfortunately, he's got the physical ability and the resources to make the decisions, but he hasn't got the mental freedom to do it.
It's interesting because obviously, you're talking about that. It's very close to home to you because he's your brother. And you've got me and Iona at this side of the table. And I think we can both see a micro Marcel in you.
Yeah,
You've got those traits
absolutely.
too. The very things that you're talking about and you're worried about him, you're unconsciously doing yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, at a slightly different level, but certainly to the same physical and emotional level of
And your business-
stress and drive and
And I'm sure your
business
wife will
ambition.
agree.
And actually sometimes you're like, oh yeah, I could talk the talk, better walk the walk kind of thing. And it is, it's very often we see things, you're like, oh God, yeah, like that's actually something. Because here's the thing, right? It's lovely you got a nice car and success. You would rather have your brother at your side, fit and healthy,
Absolutely.
than all of the stuff that he's achieved in his life.
I would rather have him fit and healthy rather than all the excess stuff.
Yeah.
Rather than the
I-
stuff that I've achieved. let
And that's a
alone him.
great takeaway.
It is, and enough isn't about giving up. It's now about choosing where your energy goes.
Yeah.
I think that's the key takeaway for it. So if you're listening to this episode and you feel restless or flat, maybe that it's a case that you don't necessarily need more in your life. You just need permission to stop chasing.
Yeah.
And what I hope is that you'll figure out that more won't necessarily give you what you think it's going to give you.
Nice.
It's perspective and appreciation of what you've got, not about accumulating more, because accumulating more is just
stuff.
And do you know what stuff is? It's more stuff to pay for, more stuff to maintain.
Well, the reality is, when you pass away, it all goes in a box and either gets binned or goes to a charity shop, and then there's no you, and the stuff doesn't mean.
The amount of stuff that I've had to bin at my dad's farm is absolutely ridiculous. 11 tons on the first clear out.
Yeah.
And it's like, so there we go. We can't take it with us.
Less is more, I'm telling you.
There we are.
Absolutely.
Less
I mean,
is more.
yesterday, it was a friend's funeral yesterday,
Right.
and this guy, he was very, very successful. He was a Marine, learnt about logistics in the army, came out, applied what he knew and his tech to building a very, very big, successful business. Every time I saw him, he's in a Ferrari or a Bentley. But then what happened was it became a prison. It fixed nothing. The noise in his head, unfortunately, he took the ultimate permanent decision rather than finding peace. But in this instance, all the stuff becomes like a prison, because then actually it becomes the other way around.
It owns you.
There was an element of that, but then when you've got a Ferrari and a Bentley sat on the drive and a selection of other stuff, you feel like you haven't got the right to open up and complain to somebody that hasn't. And it's not about complaining, it's just about opening up. Now, your voice is every part as valid as the next person. All the things that come with that come to achieving that success, you have equally as number of things as the stress that comes with not being able to get by. So, I mean, it's difficult to see that.
But the irony of the situation is what I'm seeing, correct me if I'm wrong, is the very thing in his mind that he thought he'd chase and succeed and lead him to happiness
became a prison,
and which ultimately ended that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. If there's not a lesson in that, I don't know what there is. A lesson is a bit of a somber one, but it is sometimes the hardest lessons are the most uncomfortable lessons to listen to. So I hope that landed with you. As always, we really appreciate you listening to these episodes, and we look forward to catching up with you in the next episode of Tickety Boo.
If you or someone close to you needs to access mental health support, please contact your GP, or if it's out with normal office hours, get in touch with NHS 24 on 111. Alternatively, contact the Samaritans on 116 123. All calls are free of charge from any phone. You can also find more support information on the Tickety Boo website, ticketyboopodcast.co.uk.